Please be seated. When I graduated from high school, one of the things I remember happening first was feeling a sense of wonder. Because out of nowhere, people who I did not know started sending me money. I was amazed. But that was followed shortly by prodding from my mother, who I did not know was going to be here today. Have you written your thank you notes yet? And the answer was, no, I have not. I did not want to write thank you notes. I did not know who many of these people were, distant relatives and friends of the family. I did not know what to say. I was embarrassed I would say the wrong thing. I was shy and worried they would think poorly of me for whatever I wrote. It didn't occur to me until many years later that they would probably think more poorly of me for not writing at all. In many ways, I think it made me feel insufficient to have people I did not know pour out lavish gifts upon me without doing anything for them. To receive these gifts without being able to do anything in return. And I wasn't sure how to respond. My son, on the other hand, when he graduated, had the opposite experience. When the gifts came in, I explained the need to write thank you notes in order for people to be appreciated, and he gladly obliged. The proud dad part of me wanted to believe it was because I had done such a good job of instilling gratitude. But I'm still not sure if it might have been because I also said, they may be less likely to give gifts again if you don't say thank you properly. Have you ever had an experience like my high school graduation? One where you knew that giving thanks was appropriate, but felt so indebted by the gift that it was hard to express your appreciation. Or another example of this is the ridiculous thing where we receive a thank you card and then feel somehow that the balance is off, and so we feel like we have to send a thank you note in response to the thank you card. You know what I mean? We have somehow gotten enculturated to think of gratitude as some kind of system of keeping things equal, a way of leveling the playing field in a transactional system. In some ways, saying thank you can feel at times like trying to fulfill a duty more than expressing appreciation. Pat Crater and I have been reading Diana Butler Bass's latest book entitled Grateful, the Subversive Practice of Giving Thanks. In the book, she outlines the history of gratitude. It is no coincidence that at times we feel that gratitude is a duty or obligation, or that it is a kind of transactional system. We carry the vestiges of a benefactor and beneficiary system that started at the top in the Roman Empire. The emperor gave gifts to his beneficiaries in that society, and they in return gave gratitude back to the emperor with taxes and tributes and return favors and loyalty. And this system trickled down to the lowest classes of society, with benefits flowing down and mandatory gratitude flowing up in higher proportion. So by the time you got to the bottom of society, the benefits received were thin, and the gratitude exacted was the highest on the poor. One historian writes, gratitude was not merely warm feeling towards the benefactor, Benefits imposed a debt on the recipient that had to be discharged through a return service or obligation. We carry millennia of baggage, of duty and debt associated with gratitude. Today, we don't have to look far for benefactors who expect gratitude for the benefits they provide. The transactional system is alive and well. A powerful leader bestows benefit upon the less powerful, and the less powerful provides gratitude in return, whether they acknowledge quid pro quo or not. A recent psychological study found a corollary of this phenomenon to be true. We have become an entitled society. When one feels entitled to what one has received, it does not feel like a gift. We believe ourselves to all be the benefactors. Expressing appreciation is a far more challenging task when we feel like consumers who should get what we pay for, or that we have earned the right to live a good life, while others who have worked just as hard or harder go without. So it appears I wasn't alone when I didn't want to write the thank you notes, which I ended up writing, by the way. But what if there was a different way? The gospel today is all about gifts and gratitude. Jesus runs into 10 lepers in this village, and the lepers simply ask Jesus for mercy, and all 10 receive it. All of them receive a gift. Their leprosy is removed, all of them. So Jesus sends them to the priest for ritual purification, as was customary for observant Jews like Jesus. All the lepers go. But one of them turns back after being healed. One of them praises God with a loud voice, prostrates himself at Jesus' feet, and says, "Thank you." All of them received the gift of healing. Only one then turns back and expresses deep and profound gratitude at the gift that was given. Jesus tells him that at some level, it's the very expression of gratitude that has made him well. All 10 were given the gift of physical healing, but the one that gave thanks is healed at a deeper level, in a different way than the other 9. There's a lot of scholarship on the words Jesus uses in their translation, but that's the essence of the contrast he makes. There's no transaction in this story. There is no benefactor, no beneficiary. There's no quid pro quo. All 10 were healed. The gift of healing was given freely to all 10 lepers, with nothing received, nothing expected in return. But one gave thanks, and something profound happened to that one, something different for that one as a result. Jesus, the giver of the gift, doesn't seem to get anything out of this. But giving thanks changes the recipient of the one who turned back completely. What if we let go of gratitude as a transaction? What if gratitude, instead of being duty and indebtedness, was about grace and humility? Butler Bass says, "What if everything around us could be seen as a gift instead of a constant struggle to earn, get ahead, and fight for more? What if the universe is a gift? What if life is a gift? What if air and light and soil and water, what if they're all gifts? What if friendship and love and family, what if they're gifts? What if we live on a gifted planet where everything we need is here with us as gifts? And we can freely respond to these gifts by choosing a life, choosing to care for each other mutually. And then if we can see all of that as gifts, we have a choice to make. Are we entitled? Are the gifts due to us because we're just so wonderful? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not wonderful enough to be entitled to all that stuff. Are we indebted? Do we owe reciprocity out of obligation for receiving all these beautiful gifts? I don't know about you, but I can't think of any possible way to restore the balance if everything is a gift. How could I possibly equalize that? I'm completely indebted. Acknowledging that everything is a gift requires my humility. It's the opposite of believing that I have earned what I have. And so the invitation is instead to receive, to become attuned to the gifts we are given without merit, without cause, without justification. To simply notice what that does to our own hearts and to those around us and to all whom we share this existence with. If you believe you have to give in order to receive, maybe one of the lessons of the lepers is that you first have to know what you have received in order to experience the joy of giving. True gratitude allows us to love generously, to care openly, and to share. Because everything, it's a gift. We are here today primarily to celebrate the Eucharist. Eucharist means to give thanks. Did you know that? The whole nature of the space we enter here each week, it's a gratitude feast for the gifts we've been given. If you look closely, you'll see in a few moments that we're going to enter a section of the service that's called the Great Thanksgiving. And it begins with these words: "Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is right to give him thanks and praise. It is right and a good and joyful thing, always and everywhere, to give thanks to you, Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, giver of gifts." Thanksgiving. Gratitude, not as a transaction, but as a response to the grace of God. It's life-changing. Our whole liturgical practice is based around it. We've known for 1,000 years in the church about the spiritual power of true gratitude. And science is catching up. There are medical and psychological studies on the benefits of gratitude increasing every year. One of those studies I mentioned a minute ago about countering entitlement found that people's lives changed when they make a practice of expressing thanks. Their lives changed when expressing thanks about life in general, but changed even more when they were intentional about expressing thanks towards other people on a regular basis. Who has done something for you recently that was meaningful to you? It could be large, it could be small. And have you expressed your appreciation? Last week in the forum, Claudia Dixon shared an experience of gratitude. And she said she didn't mind if I shared it with you here. She shared that she and her husband a few years ago had been fighting, and she was very angry because of the argument. And so she went outside, angry. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a hawk swooped down and entered her garden. It came into her personal space. It lingered for a moment. Then it was gone. And just like that, her anger was gone too. It was a gift. It was grace. Noticing it changed her that day. It healed her. May we all find unexpected gifts on this day. And may we have the humility to let them change us deeply.